Okay, we can get started here. Once again, thank you for tuning in. As we go along here this morning, you'll find there's a Q&A chat feature on your Zoom toolbar. So if you have any questions as we go along, please drop a question into the Q&A. I will do my best to monitor the questions and to answer them as we go along here. So kvCORE Smart Campaigns. This is something that is kind of your second step to really getting the most out of kvCORE. Is to having your it's one of the biggest, most robust tools that kvCORE offers, and it's the automated drip campaigns for your contacts. And when I meet with agents, the biggest thing they say is when we go over this stuff is that they really want to use them, but they don't really have the time to dedicate to setting up and customizing these drip campaigns to how they like them. So I think right now, many of us are experiencing that we have nothing but time. So this is a really good way to dial in those smart campaigns, get them all set up for the remainder of the summer whenever we're back into a more steady situation here in our country and in our world. But before we dive in, just be mindful of some of the rules and regulations during the national state of emergency. Please be mindful of, while we are trying to operate a business as usual, there are some new rules and guidelines in terms of contacting your leads and other folks that might be on a do not call list and things like that. So just make sure you cross-reference that before you do any of this stuff, and then you can continue to operate. Okay, so kvCORE Smart Campaigns. So you're going to access them through the Marketing Autopilot. So you're going to click Marketing Autopilot here on the left. And then right here, this first option, Start a Campaign. And you will see my library is pretty cluttered with different campaigns that I've created for during trainings and stuff, but you will see on your page all these ones. kvCORE has created a ton of default campaigns for contacts that are all of a different situation. So it's got an open house follow-up campaign. If you have leads that have come in through an open house, it has new seller leads, new buyer lead campaigns, homeowner campaigns. This is for homeowners in your sphere, sellers under contract, buyers under contract, and all these different default campaigns. Now, what kvCORE does with these campaigns is they set up automated alerts, or I'm sorry, automated touch points based on 4 different things. So, and you'll see them here: emails, calls, texts, actually 5 different things if you include the status update. So it has emails, calls, texts, as well as tasks, and it will also update a lead status. So what that means is the lead status is once they complete this new buyer lead campaign, like once they have consumed all of the touch points, they will move from the status of a new lead to they'll just become part of your sphere because they've been in your wheelhouse for a couple of years and they're not really interested in doing business. They haven't responded to your stuff. kvCORE will just move them to your sphere, and then they'll receive touch points however frequently you like to reach out to your sphere. So they move on from the status of a new lead to your sphere. Now, what a task is an automated. It is just kvCORE will tell you that you should do this today. You'll get an email that you have a new task at the start of the day, and it'll say you have to reach out to X, Y, and Z contacts today. And then it'll just task you with doing that. Calls are a little similar to that too. A call, like if kvCORE says, okay, this is day 5 of the campaign, you owe 10 calls today. A call is it's more of a suggestion. Same with the tasks, but it's a good way to keep you on schedule and keep you on track. And you will find which calls and which tasks you have to accomplish on the homepage of your dashboard. So I'll just show you right there. You'll see right here at the top in today's summary, you'll see how many tasks you have to accomplish and how many calls you have to accomplish. And you can do those. You can accomplish those right here from your dashboard. Also, from your app, you can make your calls right from the app. But as I mentioned earlier, just be mindful of some of our new rules and regulations during the state of emergency before you go out making cold calls. The next 2 things, emails and texts, those will be automated. So those will be templates that either kvCORE has in its wheelhouse, which we will go over, or text messages that you have created yourself or edited a kvCORE template, and those will just go out as scheduled. So unlike the emails and the tasks, unlike the calls and the tasks, the emails and the texts will just go out. They're scheduled to go out. They will go out, and you won't even have to think about it. So before I really dive into looking at some of the content that is associated with these campaigns, I just want to explain to you kind of the mindset that kvCORE has told us to pass on to our agents and when using these campaigns is everyone will tell you that your biggest tools are your contacts. They are your paycheck. Jim always says that. Your sphere is your paycheck. Your contacts and your leads are your paycheck. And it takes so many touch points for them to find some conversion. You know, I talk to agents a lot who they run a property boost and they get 40 leads, and they email them all, or they text them or they call them, and very few respond, and a couple will say I'm not interested. But then there's 36 that never respond, and they think those are all just bad leads because they never respond. But in reality is you got to put them into one of these campaigns so that they're getting touch points on a scheduled and regular basis. And then of those 40 leads, you might get 2 or 3 that will actually turn into some conversion, but then that's all you need. You know, you spend $60 for the week on the property boost and you get 2 or 3 deals out of there. That's a massive conversion rate. Jim always says for every 100 leads, if you convert 1, you're doing okay. If you convert 2, you're a rock star. So it's a numbers game, and it takes so many touch points to accomplish this. And these campaigns can be very valuable for you, and they can accomplish those touch points while also giving you the freedom and the time to really not having to wake up every morning and think, okay, who do I need to contact today? They're doing it all for you. So you can go out, you have you're a busy realtor, you have all deals that you're already working on. This allows you to keep your contacts engaged without really you having to do day-to-day work to do it. So it can be a very valuable tool if you take the time to if you really take the time to get it all set up. So before we look at some of these campaigns, I'm going to show you where all of the content of these campaigns comes from. And that's up here at the top, right next to the campaign library tab. You're going to go to the templates tab. And in here, you will find hundreds of different templates, email templates, text message templates, different call, voicemail. It's not really a template. It's more just like this is a suggestion that will fall somewhere in your in your campaign, as well as tasks. So you'll find tasks here. Like you can see some of these tasks. Weekly check-in. So you'll throw this task into your campaign, or a sphere check-in. And the thing with these templates, like this wouldn't be one that would fall in a campaign. The thing with these templates is that you can use them for anything in kvCORE. When you go to, I'm going to go to a different window here. When you go to your smart CRM and you want to text somebody, you can use a template that's already in here. Or when you, if you want to go and schedule out an email, which in our next webinar later this morning, we'll go over ways to create a newsletter or something like that in kvCORE. You would create that in here in the templates. So you can use the templates for a lot. You can send them off as one-off emails or have them scheduled to go out as single emails. Like if you wanted to create a happy holidays or a happy New Year's email, that's all done in here in the templates. But then you can also associate, as well as putting the template in your campaigns, you can use this template to send as a one-off email or a text to a single lead or a group of leads. So all of your templates, this is going to be where you can use them and you can apply them to different things in kvCORE. So like this sphere check-in, you can just say, I want this, I want to set this task for once a month, and you can just do it. And then you'll get an email the morning of that you have a new task. So let's look at some of the templates. So emails and texts, 52 different text messages here. But let's say you want to read what some of these templates are, like what the content of them are. So let's say kvCORE tells you to make a call, and it wants to send out a text after that call. So in order to view the template, you have to hit clone here, and you can read it here. So what you just did was kvCORE doesn't want you to edit its template directly. It wants you to duplicate the template if you're going to make any edits to it. So what I'm going to do is by doing that, it would be cloning it. So I'm going to clone it. I can see the content here. This would be the new name of the template. And the content is, hey, it's been a few days since we connected. I'd love to catch up and get going on the plan we discussed the other day. Does tomorrow morning or afternoon work better for you? So this is like a follow-up to a call that you did when you obviously connected with somebody. Now, if you want to make any changes to that, you could, and then you could rename it. Right now, it's already got a new customized name because it has copy in the text there, and you could clone the template. So all these other templates here, different buyer, are you an investor, buyer, for a new buyer? It's been a while. Let's see what this is. And of course, these little brackets here are those are ways to put the name of them is slipping my mind right now. I haven't had my whole cup of coffee yet, so it's I have to think for a minute. Merge tags. Thank you. They are merge tags, and you can get their any information here using these brackets. But it's been quite some time since you initially contacted me. Do you want to reconnect and chat about your real estate search? So you can keep that. Once again, you can keep that, or you can clone it and change that template. But let's say you want to completely just write out your own text, which is totally reasonable. You would just hit this green add template, SMS text. You'd create your own template here, and then you'd write in the content. So I'm going to do that right now. I want this to be my first interaction. So I'm going to say, hello, thanks so much for viewing my website. I am an experienced realtor who can help you with any of your real estate needs. Please don't hesitate to give me a call at, and then I can use a merge tag here by doing the little bracket. I'm going to say, give me a call at, see, agent cell phone, or send me an email at agent email. See, I could just type it out, but it's just, it's a little bit easier to put that in. Send me an email. And I'd love to connect. Have an awesome day. Now I'm going to try something. I'm going to try an emoji. Whoops. Let's see if kvCORE reads emojis. The way I did that was I hit my Windows button and then the period button at the same time. I'm going to put the key emoji. See, I'm not totally sure if kvCORE reads this, but we'll see. Maybe the house emoji would be a good one too. And I'm going to add the template. Oh, they don't support emojis. So we're learning. We're learning together. We get rid of that. Okay. So I'm going to add this template. This is my first interaction text. So now whenever I get a new lead, if I don't have them on a drip campaign, or if I create my own campaign, I'm going to want that to be the first text that goes out to them. Same with email. That the same thing I just did would be with email. And my next webinar, I'll talk about our advanced email editor, but you can do that. That same thing. But let's go back into campaign library and see where we can apply some of this new, some of these new templates to it. Before I move on to this, does anyone have any questions what I think we've gone over so far? Again, please drop it in the Q&A section. I'll give you a second to type out. Okay, so let's move on to our campaigns. So let's say you want to, I'm just going to go to our new buyer lead campaign because that is probably our most common one. So our default buyer lead campaign that kvCORE has created for us. Let's just browse it a little bit. So mine will look a little bit different than yours right now because I am an administrator. But so right now you shouldn't see the edit options here. But this is just a little bit what the campaigns look like. Immediately you would send out a new, kvCORE will task you to send out a text immediately. So right there, I could just go to my template that I just created, my initial text template, or I can set it. We'll get to that in a minute, though. I'm sorry. So, but immediately, kvCORE is going to task me with sending a text. It's also going to task me with calling them. And then tomorrow, the first day that this contact is on this campaign, they'll get the first email from me, and I'll just view that template right here. It says, thanks for checking out my site. Are you looking to buy soon or just browsing? And so basically you see here just a schedule. First of all, every day there's some sort of call, text, or email. And then they become a little bit more scarce after 6 days. So then they become every 4 days, and it's calls. And then by the 17th day, I'm sorry, we get another text. And then now it's every 5 days. a lot of calls. It's a very call heavy campaign here. You'll see it's got find anything good. It's been a while. And you see now it's every 20 days, every 30 days. And then it eventually becomes a 720 day plan. And right from here, so if they have been in your system and receiving all of your texts, emails, calls, and they haven't purchased from you, they still remain a new lead after 2 years or almost 2 years, right? Yeah, after almost 2 years, then they just simply become a part of your sphere. So this is a default campaign, but let's say you want to accomplish this campaign, but you don't love the way that it's set up. So what's going to happen is kvCORE is going to allow you to do this, because you might say, I don't want this many calls, or I don't want this many tasks. I want to throw in more emails and texts. That's fine. What you can do is you can go up to clone and then set it up from here. So right now, this is you don't really have to change any of these triggers or anything like that. If you don't want to, you can keep it simple, because this information is already in there. You're simply cloning the campaign. But if you wanted to change any of it, you could. So right now, the way that the campaign is right now, when a new lead comes in, the way that it's going to know to jump on this campaign is when their status is moved to new lead. So it's simple. But you could also do a campaign, and once you really get into this and you have your templates that you like, and you are comfortable with cloning them, creating your own templates, and creating relevant content for your leads, you can do specific templates for individual hashtags. So you can do a campaign for all property boost leads, or all leads you get from realtor.com, or all leads you get who are tagged with Hamburg, something like that. So you can do a whole bunch of different campaigns going on at once, all triggered when they have a new hashtag. But for now, this one, we just want to do this for all of our new buyer leads. So right now, the status is new lead. You hit next, and this is where you select for buyers. And then you would create it. So you could just name it. I'm gonna name mine primary new buyer lead. Description system default. I'm just gonna say, because I don't want it to be the default. I want it to be customized. Customized for buyer leads. This is all for your own personal tracking too. So I'm only doing this because I have about 1 billion campaigns that I've created going over the same training for about a year now. And I'm just doing this because I want to be able to find this campaign easily within all of my mess of my other campaigns. But so for you might want, you just want to select a name that you know is going to be easy for you to come back to. Now, do I want this to always run? Yes, I want all my contacts to be on here and locked. I'm going to leave it unlocked in case I want to make any edits to it. So it gives you a brief summary of it. So it's going to start when a new buyer lead comes on. I'm going to clone the campaign. So here it is. Here's my campaign. Primary new buyer lead. Now, for now, since I haven't had a chance to really go through and edit it, I haven't activated the campaign yet. So I'm going to leave it inactive until I really go through and change it. But the first thing I want to do, I'm going to get rid of these first two tasks. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to hit the X. Yes, I want to remove it. Yes, I want to remove it. I'm going to hit add an action, add an SMS, which is text. I'm going to say first contact is going to be what this is called. And the template I'm going to choose is, I believe, and this is where I always have an issue. First interaction, there's my text. And you can view it here. Where I said, thanks so much for being my website. Remember, we went over this a couple minutes ago when I created it. And it's going to go from agent to contact. I'm going to click to run immediately. So as soon as they come into my CRM, they are getting a text from me instantly. So this is key for follow-up. I've heard a lot of real estate professionals say, like, the first several minutes of getting a new lead are crucial. So as soon as this person, for whatever reason, comes into my CRM as a new buyer lead, let's say I was sharing I was sharing properties, or I was creating squeeze pages, or I was running a property boost, or I was doing all this stuff. I have an active listing. I was sharing the link to my listing on Facebook, and someone came right in. Boom, they're going to get a text from me instantly that is encouraging them to reach out to me if they have any interest about real estate. So I am happy with that. I'm going to add it. I'm scrolling through here. I'm okay with them getting an email the next day, as well as a text. Maybe a call by day 3. So this is telling me to call and leave them a voicemail. And once again, the calls won't go out automatically. The calls, you'll be dinged that you have a call to make that day. But nothing will go out automatically. If you see the lead that the call is due, like let's say, you've had a little bit of an interaction with a certain lead and you don't want to make that call, you can always postpone it or just ignore it. Let's say you don't want to make these calls by day 6 and day 10. You're just going to edit those. You're going to get rid of them. So yeah, you would just go through here and customize it. And one thing that's a little unfortunate is you cannot directly edit the templates when you're here editing the campaign. You have to edit the templates here. So I would suggest maybe having a different window open. Or I'm sorry, a different tab open. And you can adjust the templates there if you need to, or you can just, if really you're only concerned with a couple of them. Okay, let's say you went through all this, you took out what you wanted, and this is where like it takes some time to go through and you're really proud of all the content in here and all that, and you want to activate this campaign, you would simply turn the little toggle over here and hit activate. So what you might need to do, if you want this, so this is for all your new leads, whatever. But let's say you were creating a campaign that wasn't for new leads. It was just for different touch points, just parts of your sphere. Like you want just a general drip campaign. You can add your own campaign here and create one from scratch using all of the existing templates. Or let's try to find one that might be just general. You have to kind of go through here and play around with them a little bit. But anyway, if you were to create one for a particular hashtag or something like that, and you wanted to start it today, what you would have to do is you'd have to go into your CRM. I'm just going to pull up mine. I'm going to filter mine out. And let's say you were doing one for all for your sphere. I just want my sphere to show. And again, you can do this for any different type of way to sort your lead. You can also search the hashtags in here. But let's say I want to start a campaign and I wanted contacts in my CRM already to be activated on that campaign. I would just select all the ones that it applies to and go over to more actions, hit add campaign. And I'd select the campaigns that are available. So there might be a couple, but for me, the only one I have is our new primary new buyer lead campaign. I will add them to that campaign. Now, let's say you've been doing this for a couple months and a lead comes back to you and says, listen, I have a family member who's an agent. I won't be doing business with you. Please end your contact with me. What you would do is you would go into that contact. You'd see where it says campaigns. You'd hit this little, see where it says the campaign that they're on. You hit the little pencil here, and you can remove them from the campaign. What's also interesting is when and that'll all show here. That'll show in their timeline. But you'll also be able to see, like, let's say you knew that so-and-so is going to be getting a text or an email soon. You wanted to see how your campaign was doing or performing, you could go to that lead, one of the leads that's on your campaign's profile here, and you can see all the touch points that they received through that campaign. So anyway, that is all that I have for this info today. Please send me an email or give me a call if you have any questions about any of this stuff, and I'd be happy to help anyone get started with it. So thank you for tuning in. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming. It is a lot here, but now is the time to really dial in and accomplish this. Please let me know if you have any other questions, and I will be on here again in about 25 minutes to go over some of the advanced email editing tools. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you very soon.